Hey everyone, welcome back to the Total Survey Design Podcast. I'm Dr. Azdren Coma. Let's start with a quick picture. Imagine you're interviewing a candidate and you ask, on a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 means know nothing at all and 10 means a world expert, how skilled are you in Microsoft Excel? It seems like a perfectly reasonable question, right? But what if I told you the person who says a 7 or an 8 might actually be your least qualified candidate? Anytime you're asking people to rate themselves on a scale like this, there's a very real chance that your data is misleading you. And the worst part is, the data looks clean, it looks scientific, but it's not. Here's the issue. That 0 to 10 scale is mostly undefined. You've labeled the endpoints, but everything in between is left open to interpretation. So what happens? Everyone fills in the meaning themselves. And at that point, you're not collecting data anymore. You're asking people to grade themselves using completely different answer keys. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. You ask 3 candidates to rate their Microsoft Excel skills on the same 0 to 10 scale. The first candidate, they're a beginner. They can use the sum function, maybe format cells, maybe build a simple chart. To them, that already feels pretty advanced. They might not even be aware of the tools Excel has built in. They probably never clicked beyond the first tab of functions within the program. Their image of world expert might be just someone who knows a few shortcut keys. So they rate themselves a 7, maybe even an 8. The second candidate, the intermediate user. They use pivot tables, formulas, maybe some data cleaning. They've used Excel at a previous job for a whole year, but they've just started to realize how much there is to learn. So they rate themselves a 5 or a 6. And the third candidate, the highly skilled user. They've built automated dashboards. They solve complex data problems. I mean, did you even know that you could write code in Excel and run scripts? This highly skilled user also knows that there are entire communities of specialists who are far beyond their abilities. There are literally Excel competitions where experts earn prize money. So they rate themselves a 6, maybe even a 7. So now look at what just happened. Your least skilled candidate gave themselves an 8, and your most skilled candidate gave themselves a 6. And if you're the hiring manager, you just ranked your candidates backwards. This is explained by something called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Our instincts would say that the more skilled a person is, the higher they'd rate themselves, something like a straight line going up. But what Dunning and Kruger actually found is that it's more of a roller coaster. As skills increase, self-ratings go up a little. Then they actually drop as people learn more and start to grasp what they don't know. And then they rise again as someone reaches true expertise. In other words, people with just a little of experience don't know what they don't know, so they tend to overestimate themselves. People with more experience see the complexity, so they rate themselves more cautiously. You might be a clever interviewer and ask for candidates to give some examples of what they do in Excel. But again, asking someone to provide a brief example to justify why they rated themselves a 5 or a 7 brings within a whole host of measurement issues that may have more to do with a candidate's interviewing skills rather than their Excel skills. So, why does this matter to you practically? If a group of applicants are all asked about their Excel skills, you can expect an artificial cluster of ratings towards the high end. But that cluster does not reliably tell you who is actually more skilled. What's worse, the least skilled person often rates themselves the highest. I want to emphasize this point. If you rank candidates by their self-assessed scores, the person at the top of your list may actually be your least skilled applicant. And this isn't because they're lying or being dishonest. It's a matter of measurement error and the Dunning-Kruger effect. Add in the natural desire to appear competent during an interview, and those numbers become even more meaningless for decision makers. So, if you're in HR, on a hiring committee, or running a business and you rely on self-reported skill ratings, whether for hiring, team building, training, or project assignments, You may be systematically elevating your least experienced candidates and overlooking your best ones. That's not a small problem. That's a structural flaw in how you're collecting information. And the frustrating part is, it's completely fixable. So, how do you stop collecting bad data on your candidates? There are 3 simple changes you can make. 1. Fully label your scale. Don't just label the endpoints. Give meaning to every point, or at least every major step, so that everyone is working with the same definition. If an 11-point scale is too difficult to label fully, reduce it, make it 6-point scale, and clearly label each one. For example, for Excel, you could say 0 is no nothing at all. A 1 is can do very basic tasks like sum and formatting. A 2 could be can handle common functions and simple data cleaning. A 3 can be can use pivot tables and troubleshoot problems. A 4 can be can automate workflows with VBA and teach others. A 5 can be can design advanced solutions and handle complex modeling most people have never seen. Maybe that's not the perfect scale, but it will tell you far more than a bunch of candidates guessing where they fall on an unlabeled 0 to 10. Everyone is using the same reference points. 2. When space is limited, partial labeling should be used carefully. If full labeling isn't feasible, designers of surveys should at least ensure that the scale is intuitive and that the endpoints clearly anchor the meaning. But this is considered a compromise, not best practices. 3. Consider possibly asking multiple, more specific questions about a task instead of a single global self-rating. While this might make your interview process a bit longer, remember that the goal isn't to make your assessment shorter, it's to make it mean something. At the end of the day, if you're involved in hiring or people development, what's the trickiest skill assessment question you've run into? Let me know by writing me at totalsurveydesign@gmail.com. And if you found this useful, please share it with someone who evaluates candidate skills so they can actually get better data. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you the next episode.